So finding critical values using the t-distribution is fundamentally the same as doing this for the normal distribution. It's just we have a different parameter to chase, and there's one big wrinkle in terms of how this stuff works in the calculator that we'll see. But here, we're told we want to find a 95% confidence interval, and the sample size is 15, so that means that when we're going in here, we're going to be working with an area that has 95 in the middle, so 5% in each of the tails, and 14 degrees of freedom. Now, to compute this in the calculator, what we do is go into second distributions, and if you have the 84 or above, you'll have the inverse t computation. But if you have an earlier calculator, you won't have this option. So just be careful with that. But if you have this, go ahead and put that in there where he would have 0.975 and 14 degrees of freedom, getting about 2.145, where this computation is a little bit slower because it has to be a little bit more picky than with the normal distribution. So I'll say here that I'm not going to ask too often for specific t-scores with these problems. I'm not going to use the critical value stuff too often, specifically with these problems, just because it's unfair to people who have older calculators. You can still use the table for this sort of thing. The table is actually a little bit nicer for these problems than it was with the stuff in Chapter 5, but still, I'd rather have people on a fairly even playing field. Although I will say that you can check the video I posted in our page in order to be able to add the inverse t, or at least a analog of it, to your calculator manually.